What is up there everybody, Citrus Aviation here with yet another video. Today we have the top 10 worst airline liveries of 2020. This will be the accompanying video along with the top 10 best liveries of 2020. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. There will be a link to it in the bio and a card right up here at the top right where you can watch it. I should mention that despite the fact that there are some bad liveries on this list, the photos that have been sent by the photographers are all excellent, and they will all be linked in the description down below. If you want to go check them out, please do. There's some great photos in here today, and I want to thank each of the photographers for allowing me to use their photos for today's video. So that being said, let's get started with the top 10 worst liveries of 2020. Starting off at number 10, we have the Spirit Airlines new livery. Now, I should mention that not all these liveries here in the top 10 worst liveries are completely terrible, because, well, I did have to pick 10 liveries for this one and not all of them are bad. This includes this one. It's basically a refresh of the Bearfair livery, but they have removed the unique items from that livery, which is why I put it on this list. So it's a downgrade from the Bearfair livery into a more corporate, almost stale version of that previous livery. So what they have changed is the Spirit titles are now just the typeface that was previously, no slashes in it, and instead of saying home of the Bearfair on the engines, it now just says Spirit.com. They have now removed the Spirit.com and the Howdy from the winglets. The Spirit.com was on the outside and the Howdy was on the inside. They also had Howdy on the inside of the engines. I've not been able to see any pictures from the inside of the Spirit aircraft to see if they've removed that, but as far as I can tell, it does appear they have. That is basically it for the livery. They've just changed those things. It's a fairly small livery change, but in my opinion it is a downgrade from the previous Spirit livery, and therefore it is on this list at number 10. At number 9 we have the Eastern Airlines new livery. So Eastern Airlines is the classic American US airline based out of Miami, and they obviously went bankrupt in the early 1990s. And then they came back in the 2010s as a charter airline. Now they have rebranded for 2020 and they have this new livery, and they are doing 767 charters. They've kind of mostly dissed the 737s for the 767s because that allows them to do more sports charters and things like that, military charters as well, so they can get a slightly bigger market with that kind of chartering. I should mention, however, that I am not a big fan of this livery, mostly because it looks like a hotel carpet that they've just put onto an airplane. Now, you might like it, but I don't think that it looks great. Overall, the airplane's just white, except for this like purplish, dark blue, light blue, and orange, just yellow color that they put onto the aircraft. And it just looks a lot like a hotel carpet, or maybe you can think of another analogy for it. I'm just not a big fan of it overall. I really think they could have done better, and so that's why this livery is on the list. Again, it's not a terrible livery, I just think they could have done better here in this case. At number 8, we have another airline that probably could have done better. We have FlyAO Angola. This is their new livery. It's not just a new livery, but it's also a new airline, and obviously they're based in Angola. And they have a really cool logo, as you can see, the FlyAO Angola. That's an awesome logo, I really like it. However, the rest of what they did with the livery, on the tail section is really what bothers me, with all those triangles that they put on there. It just it just is a little off to me. Something feels a little bit off about it. If they could maybe like have extended it to go down into the fuselage, that would have looked a lot better. I really like the black engines, I think that looks great, but it's just one of those things where it could have been better, and so it is on this list for that reason. Next up, we have Windrow's new livery. So this is an airline in the Ukraine that has a new livery, and this is on their ATR 72-600. It is a tealish orange livery. Now, I personally like the livery combination. However, this is not a livery that has been overall well received by the majority of the public, just because of how strange it is, and the color combination doesn't generally work super well. And so therefore this livery is on this list. I actually kind of like it, but I understand why most people do not. Coming in at number 6, we have iAero Airways 737-800 new livery. Now this new livery comes from a modification of the former Extra Airways livery. So these aircraft are former Extra Airways. They then were acquired by Swiftair, and now the Swiftair brand has been dissolved into iAero Airways. There's a new livery, as you can see here. Now, this livery is mostly a really easy livery to do, because they mostly just kept the Extra Airways blue section on the bottom of the aircraft and added light blue on the winglets and tail and a logo. And on the picture you can see, which is my picture here, you can see they didn't even really fully paint over the Extra Airways livery, because you can still kind of see what said Extra Airways and some of the other lines and swoops they had in their livery. As a result, I have put the iAero Airways livery on here because they could have done a whole lot more, and they just went with the simplest, easiest route to do instead of creating what could have been an awesome new livery. Next up, we have another airline that could have done better with their livery. This is Zip Air. This is the new ultra low cost carrier from Japan Airlines. They will be operating the Boeing 787-8, and this is what the new livery looks like. As you can see, the logo is just a Z with a light tealish background, and they have like a green line going across the aircraft. It kind of looks like a retro livery actually, but my issues with it is that it is too simple. There's not much going on, and I've heard that the cabin experience products on Zip Air are not great. That's not what we're judging here. We're judging the livery. I really think this livery could have been better. The color palette they chose for this livery is not the greatest. I think it really could have been better. And so therefore, Zip Air is on this list as not a great airline livery. Really think Japan Airlines could have done a whole lot better. Japan Airlines makes simple look great with their current livery, and really with most if not all their liveries they've had. This is just not it. Do not like it. Coming in at 4th place, we have Rivera. And this is a livery where they tried simple once again, just like Zip Air. As you can see, it's just a typeface there, and then a stylized G logo on the tail. Now, for me, this is too much of a yellow white livery. I am not a big fan of yellow white liveries in general, except for some airlines that do it really well. This one could age well, but at least as of right now, I do not like it. It's just basically a very overly simplified livery that I'm not a big fan of. Again, your white liveries, if they age really well, I change my opinion on them, but generally when they come out, I'm not a big fan of them. And coming in at number 3, we have one of the ugly liveries. Starting at number 3 to number 1, these are just straight up ugly liveries. This one here is with Zagros Airlines, which is an Iranian airline. And this is a special livery here. I'm not exactly sure what the special livery is for, but it's just kind of really strange. I do not know what it's supposed to represent. I'm sure some people in the comments could tell me, but overall I do not like it, and therefore it is on this list as one of the ugliest liveries of 2020. Coming at number 2, we have another special livery. Yes, number 1 is also a special livery, and this one is for Sundair. This is a special livery. It's supposed to be, I think, for some cartoon or something like that, but it comes off as a bit too childish for my taste, and I'm not a big fan of it. It's just a bit too much like it was drawn or created by a 5-year-old. This is exactly what they would make an airline livery look like, and that's what it looks like. So that's why I do not like this livery. And then coming in at number 1, we have this livery here. Now this is a combination of both poor design and lazy work, which we've had some of both on this list. What about put them together to make the worst livery of the year? So this aircraft is Protect or NHS. This aircraft was painted in this livery specifically for the purpose of transporting cargo during the current pandemic, and it has served that role very well. It is a former Virgin Atlantic A340-600. Virgin Atlantic decided to retire their fleet due to the pandemic, and they are currently being used for cargo operations. However, they count with this livery, which is, like the logo itself is fine. The Virgin Atlantic livery is very nice, but when you put the two together, it's a lot of classing palettes, and I do not like how it looks. Also, the Virgin Atlantic livery is getting very old, it's not been upkept, as you can see, and it just looks really kind of dingy. Fortunately, they have a newer version of this livery they came out with a few months ago, which looks a whole lot better. However, this one, I just do not like it, and therefore it is the worst livery of 2020. Now, of course, I did have a small pool of liveries to choose from for 2020 because there just weren't very many because of the pandemic and a lot of paint shops being closed, and a lot of airlines deciding not to spend money on new liveries, which makes a lot of sense. However, 2021 should be a much busier year, and you should see more of a normal, full selection of ugly liveries. Once again, not all the liveries on this list were terrible. I had to put in 10 because Top 10 Worst Liveries makes a great title for a video. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'd love to know what your least favorite liveries from 2020 were. Comment them down below. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.